In my last video, I showed you a few of my favorite flowers that are tropical and just thriving in my parents' backyard here on Staten Island in New York. But now I want to show you the exotic plants, some of them new for this year and some of them I've had forever. All of them are going to be doing really well, and if they're not doing well, I'm going to tell you about it so that way you don't plant them. But stick around to the end of the video because I invite my mom in to name her favorite flowers and plants in the garden. So stay tuned to that. So yes, I did show you all my favorite flowers in the last video. Let's get to the tropical palm trees. I have an Adondila palm that you know about because I've mentioned it in a lot of videos of the backyard. I also mentioned this black night tea plant, so this is just a very quick update on those. If you want to learn more about my experience with these plants, you can look back at some of the previous videos, and same for the bottle palm. I just want to quickly show you how those are doing. I decided to upgrade the container for my Hedychium ginger. I have a few of these in the ground and I have these in containers. So I forget the name of this plant. If anyone knows it, we'll call it Joseph's coat for now, but I don't think that that's what it is. Maybe it's a type of Joseph's coat, but usually those have much smaller leaves. But I absolutely love this combination. We need bold color and dramatic shape, and that's what makes a good container. So I love this Hedychium ginger. It will bloom August, September time. I like the play on color here. We've got the greens, we've got the kind of reddish, and then the tea plant, we have the reddish. Caladium. Look at this little survivor. I decided this year, I was like, I am not going to buy any caladiums. They're so expensive. Caladiums are like elephant ears, but even more flamboyant in color and less flamboyant in size. And anyway, I didn't buy any. And they all came back from inside the house, of course. These will not survive our winters here. But talk about late arrivals. Those are at least unfurling their, second set of leaves. This one is on the first set of leaves. A little bit more shade over here. Look, these are just coming up. And it's July. I can't tell you how many times I gave up on caladium bulbs and it turned out that they were alive. Okay, back to some more palm trees. This is not a tropical palm tree, but it sure looks tropical. I have one at my house, and you probably are familiar with it. It's in the garage area, but it's doing great here. This fiddle leaf fig was a clearance plant. I have a Yucca gigantea. Look at how big it is. Definitely lives up to the name. And I got these amazing elephant ears. I think this was on clearance if I remember right, and it's just unbelievable. Do I have a name for this? I'm gonna have to look. Oh yeah, so this is allegedly Redemption, which is a very, very unusual variety of Colocasia because it has these reddish purples in the leaf vein, and then the dark color to the leaves. It is growing monstrously fast. It's not supposed to have this white in the middle of the leaves, though. It's supposed to be just reddish. So I saw this new leaf and it kind of threw me off. That's why I forgot that it was a Redemption Colocasia. Anyway, it's beautiful. If you're not familiar with the jargon, the mumbo jumbo about these plants, you're just looking at it and you're like, this is pretty if you like it, and this is not pretty if you don't like it. So I want to get to some of the cold hardy stuff, and then we'll get back to some of the tropicals too. But let's talk some more tropical plants. I absolutely adore this succulent plant that has no leaves on it when I take it outside in the spring and just continues to thrive as we move into the summertime. This is a Yucca filamentosa. I actually cut it back pretty hard because I just wanted the tulips that were growing in it to get some more sun. This is a Croton. Look at the new leaves on this. You grow it for the leaves. This lost every single leaf when it went outside, but it's doing great now. I have these tree hibiscus that are really fun planters, and I just like the long planter kind of look, and then the tree. I think the symmetry is just really nice. It's a simple container, and the flowers are beautiful, which I mentioned in my last video. Of course, any tropical garden has got to have cannas. Those overwinter in the garage. These cannas overwinter in the ground. It's called Robert Kemp. Last year, those cannas were covering the whole entire generator here. We had a pretty weird winter. Some stuff did well, but a lot of stuff did not. And I lost a lot of the cannas. I didn't cover them or protect them, but I never do. So I was surprised that these died. My more tropical-ish kind of cannas, like the Bengal tiger, that one I just bring in the garage. They're a little bit less cold tolerant, so I bring those in. But this Robert Kemp is an heirloom variety. Hummingbirds absolutely love it. Did you even know hummingbirds were in New York? Because I didn't. Not in New York City, at least. I knew, like, upstate, Long Island, I've seen hummingbirds, but this brought them to my parents' yard on Staten Island. And there are hummingbirds on Staten Island. I just didn't know because I never saw them. This is a longleaf pine. I got it as a little tiny sapling when I was still living in Florida. And look at how big it is. It's like not even really growing in any soil. And I just love the long needles. So it, of course, lives up to the name. This is a Florida native. I don't protect it. I don't think about it. It does great. And I just think it adds like a nice exotic flair. There's a Cordyline australis in the background. And I love the two of those together. And then the view of the whole rest of the yard. So kind of fun to see those two together. I do have some plumerias that are in containers here, but I want to show you my Musa Sikkimensis banana. This one's called Ever Red. There are two types of Sikkimensis banana. This is a very cold hardy banana, and it's considered one of the most cold tolerant. For a while, for many years, they thought that Musa Sikkimensis was as cold tolerant as Musa beiju, and it has those exciting red leaves. Is that not amazing? So that was a very, very, made us salivate. Everybody was so excited. Turns out it's not as cold tolerant as Musa beijus, but it is cold tolerant. I kept it in the garage during the winter time in my yard, and it did very well. This is a different variety, though. So like I said, there are three types. This one is called Ever Red. So what you need to know about Musa Sikkimensis, this beautiful red goes away on the regular species. So they were like, let's make one called Bengal tiger, and that one keeps its red longer, allegedly. Well, I have Bengal tiger in my backyard, and there's no red on it anymore. It was only red when it was a little seedling, a little baby. So will this one keep its red? I don't know. This new leaf does look like it still has some red on it. It doesn't have any red or much red on the undersides. It has some, but definitely this is the longest that I've ever seen red on Musa Sikkimensis bananas. Usually at that size, you got little to no red. And if you keep on walking, you find the windmill palms. So I've had these in the ground since 2009. I do cover them, not much. This is last year's seeds. One is a female and one is a male. So, oh, well, there you go. It's kind of, they're kind of dried up now. So I guess they're ready to pick. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get some seedlings popping up from this. But anyway, so that's last year's seeds. That's this year's seeds. You need to have a female and a male in order to produce seeds. As far as I know, I've never seen a windmill palm have both female and male flowers on the same tree. So I got really lucky because this one's a female and this one is a male. And you really can't even, I personally can't tell when I look at the flowers. I can only tell after it's done being pollinated. If it has the little seedlings, seeds on it, then it's a female. But beautiful plants. There's really no way of differentiating physically between a female and male windmill palm. Most palms, you really can't tell their sexual characteristics based on the way they look. But anyway, I'm going way too in the weeds about this. They're great plants. That's all you need to know. For my yard, this kind of started it all in my parents' backyard. This is Florida Anise, a great evergreen, which usually has some flowers even during the summertime, but it looks like it's on a hiatus right now. But it'll bloom pretty much every month out of the year, and it has gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. And now it's an evergreen tree it's trying to become. It's like peeking in between the windmill palms. You can't really tell in the video. This is Carolina AllSpice, a very cool native to the southeast that blooms very heavily in May and then sporadically throughout the summer, and those flowers are so pretty, and the fragrance from the leaves is really nice. The flower fragrance on this one isn't that impressive, but the one in my backyard is a special cultivar, and that one seems to be more fragrant. I mentioned my oleander in the last video, and my hibiscus, and why this hibiscus is so special to me is because it was given to me from a friend's mom who passed many years ago. But one thing I forgot to mention that's a flower in my previous video are these shrimp plants. Yummy! You don't eat them, but they sure look cool, right? Inside the gazebo, I have some more elephant ears. These I overwintered in the garage as well, and I just needed something to put here. So those Tradescanthias that you see hanging down are also really easy to overwinter. I just put them in the garage, and they do survive in the ground during mild years in mild parts of the garden. And this is filling out pretty easily, and it was, you know, cost nothing for me to make this planter. Doesn't look super impressive yet, but it's getting there. And then I have my Ficus elastica, which is also known as a rubber tree. This is a houseplant that's doing really well. Some more winter success stories. Of course, I talked about my hardy gardenias in the last video, so check out that one because they're doing well. I also did have some ginger pop back. The only ginger that have come back for me are the butterfly ginger, the straight species. None of the cultivars came back for me this year. I didn't have any cultivar Hedychium gingers in my parents' yard, but anyway, I lost hope that these were going to come back, and then they did. So never lose hope. Okay, I want to talk about the figs. So this is brown turkey, which is one of the more common figs, and it doesn't do great for me. I want to show you a better one. So we're going to go into the little corner of the garden here. Not the best climate for plants. This is my Livistona chilenensis palm. I'm going to overwinter it in this container this year. I'm just going to like cover it and put lights in it and see what happens, because in the past I've had luck with Livistonas. Back to the figs. On the other side, whoop, look at this. It's a big one. I got this at a college plant sale at Rutgers in 2016. It's called Biago's Blush, and it is loaded with figs. Everywhere is fig, fig, fig. And we have 2 fig crops going on in this tree. It actually produces fruit twice. Usually you get fig fruit only in the fall, especially here in New York, but this produces a breba crop, which is a crop of fruit on the old wood. So do you see the brebas are those big fruits that are almost ready, and then these are the immature ones that are on the new wood. So this is all new growth this year. Anything with leaves on it is new growth from this year. And the reason why it's really special when you get a breba crop is because it's growing on last year's wood. You see, there's no leaf on these margins over here. These are all breba. This one looks like it's actually just about ready. Do you see how easy that comes off? There you go. That's how you know it's ready. It's a little squishy. So this is your breba crop. It needs to overwinter on the tree. Those buds for the fruit need to overwinter on the tree in order to get a breba crop, which is why you usually don't get breba crops in New York unless you like protect the tree, bring it inside, whatever, because it needs to experiences a lot of cold during the winter time. Sorry, I keep ripping on everything. And anyway, this one just seems to be incredibly tolerant of that cold. So we're gonna add this to the collection inside the house and keep on going. Here we go. I don't even have room for it. So in my previous videos, I talked about my Cordyline fruitosia, which was kind of struggling over here. The other one is doing well, but this one got so sunburned. But look at all the new growth. Do you see all in the center? All that new growth is really healthy, so it won't be long now before I can cut some of those damaged leaves off, and it'll really be looking great. I love this pink diamond variety because, look, it's pink right in the middle. It's a really fun color. Very pretty. But again, these leaves are kind of killing the vibe. So if you imagine those leaves aren't there, these are all new leaves. And look at how pretty those are. Do you see how nice they are? We have the white margins with the pink. It's really, really nice. I've had this philodendron forever. I just sort of tuck it away into the corner and it does really well. Another really cool begonia that I've had forever, and that's doing well. And then my Schefflera tree is also just a rock star that I've had for such a long time. I think that one's like 15 years now. All right, so I've had an amazing time in the backyard, and my mom is unbelievable. I mean, she likes gardening, but for her to take on all of this work, I can't tell you how much I appreciate her. She's the best human being in the entire world, and I'm not saying it just because I'm biased, but I do want to hear what her thoughts are on her favorite plants in the yard. So I'm gonna welcome her into the video, and we'll hear what she has to say.
My favorite plants are going to be, again, all the ones that smell really nice. Over here are our Which ones are they? Tell me
The gardenia and the
what is
jasmine.
Oh, jasmine. That was
You
the
love
one.
that. But that was in the last video, so you should watch that video if you missed out on the explanation behind those
I
plants.
only take care of the plants.
No, you do know your stuff. I think you're just camera shy.
Yes, I am camera shy too.
Not really though. Yeah.
Oh, please, let me tell you about these plants here. Your yucca attacked
Yeah,
me.
the agave. Oh, that
Agave
one attacked
when
you.
I was weeding, so I'm not
I
too
know,
fond
on your
of
nose.
it,
You do
yes.
still have a little damage on your nose from that
so this
one.
I'm not too fond of. Yeah.
It is pretty though. It gave you a
Yes.
flower twice this
It
year,
did,
so
it
you know,
did.
just when it was gonna get the boot, it almost did. You're like, oh, you're bringing that one in? I'm like, yeah, look how big it is. So that was a late arrival inside the house. Most of the plants get clearance, but that one was a tough sell. Whatever ones you like.
But I
Because you said what you don't like.
that was the one that attacked me recently. Let's see, which ones do I love? Okay, so I do love my flowers here. Are beautiful.
The dahlias.
Which we don't.
I knew you
ever-
liked
yes,
those.
I love those. Ginger, which is not yet in bloom.
No, and even this one came back from last winter.
Let's see what else I do love. Of course, my plumeras. I love
Yes, the
those.
plumerias are beautiful. They're very big, but this one's a little smaller.
I do
So
take good care of them. In the
you do.
winter,
You take
too.
very good care in the summer also. Winter, summer. You have your basil.
Oh, and my new one that's flowering here.
Yeah, this is the first time that you're seeing the crepe myrtle in bloom.
Beautiful. This is my newest addition.
Wow.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yes.
You haven't even mentioned the geraniums. We don't really have that many this year, but
No,
you always like
they-
geraniums.
But they're a little hard to keep during the winter, so.
We did keep them
But they
though.
were a little difficult.
But look at how good they're
little-
doing now. This one was not looking
Well,
good
no,
when we
didn't
brought
have
it out.
them during the winter.
No, we did. I'm pretty
No,
sure.
no.
I am pretty
the one
sure.
we had were these two.
Well,
But-
those we also
No,
had,
not
but
that
this was
great.
in the little tiny container that was on the window.
That's not bad then.
And those two did very well. These are a little iffy still, but they're coming back, you know. Like look at all the new growth on it. And they have lots of flowers, but it's a little lanky looking still. You gotta envision what you want, and sometimes not what you have. Well, that's pretty good. So I'll do a little tour of the
Yes.
backyard now that you've named some of your
Yes.
favorites. You always liked for Croton also. I feel like this year
Well,
it's
the
taken some
Croton,
time to grow back.
It loses all its leaves out here, and then during the winter, it's just beautiful.
It does well inside the
Yes,
house.
it does.
Yeah, it does.
That's one that's very big as well as my plumera that takes up my whole hallway in the winter.
Yeah, that
And
one's
it
not very
flowers.
pretty in the house,
No, it
but
does flower during the winter too.
flowers all the time. I don't know why, but it never stops.
Nope, it doesn't.
All right. Well, thanks, Mom, for
You're
being such a good
welcome.
sport and for watering all the plants for
You're
like 20 years now.
welcome. It's my pleasure. Bye.
I know. You do love it, but I'm very, very grateful. All right, so that is a wrap on this video here on Staten Island in my parents' backyard. But like and subscribe. This is just the beginning of summertime, and we've got so much more fun to talk about in the yard. Until then, I'll see y'all later, and thanks so much for watching.